Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to the the football show with No Name. And as you see, there are not four squares here because one of our guys, Mr. Jeff, is dealing with some personal issues that he has to take care of this evening, so he will not be with us. So that being said, welcome to, of course, we have Lauren Hudat always with us. And Ian the Champ filling in for Jeff tonight. And so it's going to be a good show, you guys. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about, Thursday night game, of course. We're going to talk about the upsets. Miss Lauren wants to talk about the upsets. We are going to have a little bit of a fantasy segment because this is, what is it called, Ian? What did you say earlier?
Huh?
What this week in fantasy? Buy-mageddon.
Oh, this is Buy-mageddon. You got the
Buy-mageddon.
the Vikings, and the Bills all on Buy-mageddon.
Well, you have two of the top quarterbacks off. You have three or four of the top wide receivers. You have one of the top running backs out. It's a week and a lot of wide receivers out. And so people are hurting. People are hurting this week. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we are going to give Jeff's ass player of the week as well. We'll give that out in his honor since he's not here. So, and of course, we're going to talk about our fantasy league that we have on the show. So let's see. What do we start off with, you guys? Lauren, let's start off like this. And I know you have your notes. For Jeff wants us to talk about DFS. So can we talk about that real quick? Are you ready to talk about something like that?
I honestly don't
have you made a DFS lineup this week?
This week is hard. I don't even know because with the bye week, it's like hard who that knocks off makes it super hard. Like I'm probably going to go Ravens.
I mean, this week.
Let me ask you a question since I'm DFS illiterate. Does the off weeks mean that the players that are there that are actually playing get more expensive, or is it straight stats based kind of stuff?
I don't think they get more expensive.
No.
That's actually a good question, but it's just the selection. And I listened to like an hour and a half long podcast the other day on DFS, and they were talking about the to have more of a unique lineup versus like what everybody else has becomes more difficult. And it's just like, I feel like it might be a little easier to hit on maybe, but then you're splitting it with more people. It's really hard when there's a bye week. It's been really hard this season, I think. Like the first week, like who would have thought Curtis Samuel would have shot? Like if you didn't have him week one, you weren't winning money. Yeah. So it's like this season has been really hard. I was saying this not to go, but I was like I picked Jonathan Taylor. I was first pick in Family League. I took Jonathan Taylor. Huge disappointment. So DFS is really hard right now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going this week. I'll go with Ravens stacks, probably the Bengals.
Well, I mean, yeah, Burrow is actually playing pretty well.
Yeah.
So, yep.
I might sneak one in. I don't even know if I would do the Chargers.
Gosh,
yeah, the Patriots, but it's hard.
We'll talk about that in that game in a little while because that was some craziness. Ian, what were your thoughts about DFS, and then we'll move on to upsets.
It's one of those weeks. I mean, when there's no bye weeks, you have a much better idea of who you want to target, what stacks you want to target. But on these bye weeks, I think it's really tailored more to the people that, for lack of a better phrase, are highly skilled. Are able to look at the waiver wire, really get those deep dives, those super sleepers.
Well, but that's
and these matchups, and
it's not the waiver wire that's the issue.
Right.
It's like you have to. So, for example, if you last week sucked because everyone and their mom would have thought the Bills and the Chiefs game would have been the shootout, so it wasn't. But because that if you there's been a few weeks where if you didn't have Josh Allen, you weren't going anywhere. Like you could maybe win $5, but you're not winning $100,000 if you don't have Josh Allen. So. Yeah. You have to put him in, but then they charge you so much. So then you're throwing darts. That's what I was asking Merrill about Giants last week because a couple of the Giants receivers are super cheap. And if they hit, then you're, but you got to have a legit, I should take a picture of it next time. And like the top 5 guys in actually, I might be able to pull that up if I do it quickly because it's like, I think one of them this week was last week when it was Matt Ryan. Like, how are you supposed to know that?
Oh, I want to talk about that when we talk about fantasy. So the reason why you're looking that up, I want to tell people, we kind of went out of order today because I kind of want to sandwich the show. So we're going to have DFS up front because it is a little bit of a shorter segment. And then we're going to end the show talking about fantasy because this is a big week for fantasy players. And in the middle of the show, in the middle of the sandwich, we're actually going to talk about real football, which the show is all about. Okay,
Brilliant.
just want to begin and end the show with the fantasy segments because it is going to be fresh on a lot of people's minds today.
Sure.
All right, so I'll tell you who won $100,000. Although this one doesn't seem that out as crazy. So the guy or girl had Joe Burrow, Kenneth Walker, Rondell Stevenson, Jamar Chase, Charles Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Zach Ertz, with the Deion Jackson and the Jets defense. I wouldn't have put Jets defense in.
Yeah. Deion Jackson. Yeah. Deion Jackson and Ramondre Stevenson were probably really cheap and won you a lot.
Ramondre's not really, but yeah, I mean, this is my lineup that hit last week. This is my lineup that hit. It was Josh Allen, Eno Benjamin, Ramondre, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Boyd, Alec Pierce, Dawson Knox, James Robinson, the Bucs defense. So because I have
James Robinson killed you.
Yeah, so did the Bucs defense, and did too. I would have.
But I'll tell you that Tyler Boyd was a good start. I picked him up in the last second and loved when he got that touchdown.
But see, that's in DFS, that's not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they need for them to get flames above their numbers. These guys are like 25, 28, 28, 20. Like
that's why you got to have Josh Allen, even though he costs like $8,000, $8,500, $9,000. Then like
you screw yourself when he doesn't. So. Like who would have known?
Yeah,
like I would have never guessed Atlanta would have tore it up last weekend.
Yeah.
And Marcus Mariota scored like 25.
He did. It's really like the stacks that I didn't put in are the ones that hit
on 14 pass attempts. By the way, 13 of 14.
No, it's ridiculous.
He hit his first 13. Yeah.
And Kyle Pitts finally caught a touchdown, so this is a good time.
Drake London,
Matty Ice, and that I have to do it this week. I hate it.
Okay, so hold on, Lauren. We're gonna get to Matty Ice in our fantasy segment that we're gonna wrap up the show because I'm actually gonna tie that conversation into actual real football. So it's gonna be it's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, so Lauren, you wanted to talk about upsets this week.
Yeah, so like I was psyched about. I can't stop grinning about the games this week. So I'm just going to go down the list. All right, I knew the Saints were not going to do that well, but props to them for getting as far as they did. But all right, so the Ravens at the Giants, like that. I'm sure the Ravens were favored. Maybe people were like, but I swear, I think it was the first quarter. As soon as they sacked Lamar behind the line, I was like, this is not.
Giants have a good defense.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be I felt that was going to be an upset before the game even started, simply because of the relationship between Wink Martindale, who was the Ravens defensive coordinator for the last 4 years. Now he's the coordinator. He knows the Ravens defense. He knows Lamar. The Giants, I think, are still overachieving. But when you've got that inside knowledge, sorry, I think the Giants are still overachieving. But because of that inside knowledge, I wasn't too shocked that the Giants upset the Ravens.
Well, I mean, anytime Daniel Jones wins a football game, I'm shocked. So, but
and this week they played. I think they're going to win this week too.
They'll win this week too. Like it's going to be super interesting going forward to see what happens with the Giants because Saquon is back, and their wide receiver situation is terrible. But Wan'Dale Robinson scored last week. And looks like a pretty good receiver, and then they have the Bellinger kid coming up at tight end. So they actually, so Daniel Jones can run the ball too. So you're kind of, getting some things from him, even though he did go to Duke. So, all right. So what else? Like, can we talk about something real quick?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Packers?
That's I was going to say. I have 3 upsets, and that was the next one I was going to say. Like,
there's a lot of upsets.
The last, so that I was going to say for last actually, because I think like if you rank the funniest upsets, the next one would be Brady and the Steelers.
Okay, so let's go Brady and the Steelers, and then we can finish off with your boy.
Steelers.
We can finish off with your favorite.
Holy shit! And DJ too, and DJ.
I lost in 3 different survivor pools taking the Bucs, and I was upset.
Well, why wouldn't you take the Bucs?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now I couldn't believe that happened.
Oh, and can I tell you guys something that I heard? They lost 3 corners
And
right
their
before
safety.
the game.
And Minka
The
Fitzpatrick
Steelers
lost their
So
safety.
4 defensive backs total right before the game, or leading up to the game.
Steelers?
Yep.
Steelers
And
did.
they-
And Tom Brady
you know
couldn't
what?
do shit.
He
Tom
is
Brady
depressed.
couldn't do shit.
He's
Well,
depressed.
here's
I heard
the
he
reason why.
stopped wearing his wedding ring too.
You know what? You know what? The more that I just thought about this now, and this actually makes a little bit of sense. It's really not too surprising when you think about Wednesdays. Every week on Wednesday, Tom Brady takes a Veterans Day. Doesn't practice. It's a veteran rest day. A lot of vets do that. I'm cool with it.
Yep.
Thursday he practiced. Friday, did he practice? No. Friday he was in Boston at Robert Kraft's wedding. He was not even with the team.
Whoa. Hold on a second. Robert Kraft got married?
He got married to like a 26-year-old blonde bimbo. What? But neither.
But not
was
somebody
she one
from
of the masseuses?
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
she wasn't like a little Asian
I don't
lady from
know.
some-
I don't. But
okay.
so Tom Brady's not even with the team on Friday when the offense is being when the final offensive game plan is being installed. The team travels on Saturday. Tom doesn't travel with the team. He travels by himself from Boston to Pittsburgh, and then they get demolished. When you think about it, it's really not that surprising. Tom's not playing that well anyway.
Well,
He's not a part of the team.
This is kind of what I was saying, and it'll go right into Aaron Rodgers too. But I'm not saying that the guys are like bad this year, him and like Tom and Aaron, but I feel like
I do.
when you watch a team though, like you watch like Kenny Pickett and what is the guy? I can never
Mitch
think.
Trubisky.
No, and the Jets,
Zach Wilson.
So you've got these younger quarterbacks who are so full of life and have not been to these Super Bowls and have not been to these playoffs. You've got these younger and new coaches coming in. They've not been to the Super Bowl. So it's kind of like, it reminds me a lot. I don't remember which Super Bowl it was the Patriots lost, but it was in Arizona. And Brady came out and he was just like clean shaven. Yeah, I just don't remember which one of the. So he's like clean shaven, just saying hi to people. And Belichick comes out and he's got a normal shirt on, not the hoodie. And I remember thinking, we're fucked, because these guys, like, usually when they come out, it's like they haven't shaved in weeks and they're like high fiving, and they figured they were going to walk in there and win that game. And I think that's what happened to Tom Brady. That's what happened to Aaron Rodgers. And that's what happened to, the Ravens is another story. But those two guys are just so used to winning.
Lauren, we talked about Tom Brady.
But his teammates, like, why would you bust your ass for a guy that doesn't even bother to travel with having played in teams before, like the camaraderie and being together? That's huge.
Lauren, we spoke about this last week. Last week, Lauren, we had a pretty in-depth conversation about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady specifically, and they're decent football players, but as people, they're just kind of assholes.
Yeah, and so now they both lost. No, the Bucs didn't lose, but now Aaron Rodgers has 2 losses in a row
to the Jets and the Giants.
Yeah, so that guy, I'm sure, is the biggest dickhead when he's in the locker. Like, I see these new guys, like you were saying, Jalen Hurts, like his guys would take a bullet for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that leadership and that like love of the game, I don't think Aaron or Tom have. They're just like, here's my money. I'm playing.
They have a sense of entitlement.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go with that. I want to say, like, I get what y'all are saying. He's Tom Brady, if anybody, has deserved and earned some grace. I won't say deserved, or he's earned some grace, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, and yes, he's in the public eye, and yes, it's not a good look that he was doing, not traveling with the team and not practicing. But 20 years, this guy has done nothing but win football games, and he did it when he came to Tampa Bay. And so it's like, has he earned the grace? I think so.
His heart's not in it.
Yeah, but
especially since he's going through some shit, right? And
like
yes,
any other league, it's a "what have you done for me lately" league. If you are putting up 4,500 yards a year, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in the playoffs, then you can do that. But when you're not playing well, I don't care who you are.
You got to think about Tom Brady like you think about Jerry Jones.
I think his heart's just not in it. Like when he was 20, even 10 years ago, when he comes flying out, like he just was I don't really see him go in the end zone anymore and like jump up and like he used to have a thing with Gronk. Every time they scored a touchdown, he'd go run in the end zone. They congratulate. It's like he just is like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, no, and I get it. Like, you know, his heart may not be in it. He's also dealing with a lot of injury, not personally, but you know, right.
But he's still like,
the offensive line isn't what it was because
they're 45 years old and 38 years old in a league where you get beat up. I mean, they're not young men.
No, and I get that. I just don't think he has the same, like, having worshiped the man for 20 years. Like, he had a very different appearance, like coming on the field with his teammates. Just like, I saw him, he was screaming at his offensive line, like to the point that he's like spitting on them. And so
because he's on his ass.
No, and I get that, but I'm just saying,
but his
very
line
different.
has to be. But his offensive line at that point, and I saw him screaming too. If I'm on that offensive line and Tom Brady is screaming at me, "Do your job," I'm thinking, pardon my French, where the fuck were you on Friday when we're putting this game plan together?
Yeah.
Where do you get off yelling at me when you can't even show up?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I don't think he's the same type of leader or like motivator that he was 10 years ago. Like,
I agree with that.
He's very different. And so I think that shows. And I think that flows right into Mr. A-Rod. As much as I can't stand him. Yeah. That's my favorite upset of this week.
No, and I get that. I want to start
Green Bay.
I want to start this so I can get it in before you start going off on the tangent.
No, go ahead.
About your favorite player. So he has earned a little bit of grace as well. However, he has not earned that much because he is publicly a bigger asshole. Also, he hasn't won 7 Super Bowls. So, but he has won more MVPs than anybody in the history of the NFL. Right? So that part gives him a little bit of leeway, but not a lot because he is more publicly facing asshole than Brady. So that was my favorite upset of the week as well. And you got to love fucking Sauce Gardner walking off the field in the cheese head.
That's who that was?
That. Yeah. And Alan Lazard knocked it off his head running into the locker room. I mean, you got to like that stuff, right?
Those Jets are going to be scary. Those Jets are going to be a scary.
Breece Hall doing the Lambeau leap was my favorite part.
Okay, so
there it is, Breece, right up in the fan. I loved it.
Crazy. They're scary. They're a scary team. Like if the Bills weren't in that same division, you might legitimately be like worried about the Jets in the playoffs out there. That's not going to happen. But see,
the Bills is a good example of what we were talking about. Like Josh Allen is the guy that Tom Brady was 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. He's that guy that they will do anything for, and they all play like a team. That is the difference.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Both of them, Tom Brady and Josh Allen, when they first came into the league, had this in common. They both had something to prove. They had naysayers to prove wrong.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Nothing to prove.
Was a 6th round pick who only got on the field because was Ellis knocked out Drew Bledsoe, and that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was a 7th overall pick out of Wyoming, and all he was a rocket arm.
Because no accuracy.
He's going to be a bust, and they both had something to prove. And Tom Brady proved it, and now I think he feels like I've proved it. I'm Tom Brady. Who are you? What have you done?
It's like,
same thing with Aaron Rodgers.
Same thing with Aaron Rodgers.
Why I don't understand why they're. I guess I don't understand why they're still playing because they've done everything. They don't look like they give a shit. So like, why keep? I mean, I don't know. I'm not him. Like, I don't know. I just. As a hopeless romantic, I don't know that I would have done that to my wife. And I mean, like, whatever, but I don't know that I would have done that to my wife if my heart is where it's at and it's my kids and my wife. I don't, maybe it's just the guy is addicted. I don't know.
I mean, he's spent the last 20, actually probably 30 years of his life doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, no,
it's all we know.
Aaron Rodgers is a whole other beast though. Aaron Rodgers, I don't understand on like, because I've been wondering this. Him taking the bigger contract is how they lost Devontae Adams, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
no. Yes.
So he is the reason.
Devontae Adams was leaving anyway. He was going to Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
But could they have got better players if Aaron hadn't taken that big paycheck?
Possibly.
Because
hey, you know what? Here's something to consider when you're talking about perception of these quarterbacks just generally. How often do you see on TV these days State Farm commercials where they're talking about the Patrick Price? I see them all the time.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw one for the Rodgers rate?
They phase it out.
I still want Baker's back.
It's for this reason. Nobody wants to see him. Nobody likes him.
Asshole.
Yeah, it's PR nightmare.
He's
like waiting to happen.
His final nail for me, honestly, wasn't necessarily the fact that he lied about being vaccinated. It was when he goes into Chicago and screams, "I own you!" Like, come on, dick.
Right.
No, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, and I don't have anything to say positively.
I can't think of another quarterback that people disliked on that level.
The only thing I can say positively
Michael Vick
is that yes.
And that's because he killed dogs. Like Aaron Rodgers does this all on his own.
Yeah, he does it all on his own.
But Michael Vick reprieved himself. He came back. He was given a second opportunity. He was. You know what? There's dog people that will always hate him, and I get it. I'm a dog person. I have a dog. I love her. She's
not a fan.
But Michael Vick did everything that he needed to, and he
absolutely.
To give himself that second shot. Now he's
on
Ray Lewis.
And you know what? Dog lovers are going to hate him. But Michael Vick, when he was given his shot, did everything right.
I love me some Ray Lewis.
Aaron Rodgers hasn't.
I can't with Ray. I think it's living around here. It's just like
I know, I get it, but that dude had some of the best quotes in the history of the NFL. One of my favorite.
I will say though, I used to have to work for my rugby team. We had to work at M&T and sell the beer on the outside. I should probably not say this publicly, but I would go stand and watch him come out because it is something else to see him come out the tunnel.
No doubt.
Yeah. It gives me chills even like talking about it. It was pretty awesome to watch.
He said, he once said in an interview, it's very Mike Tyson-esque. He said, I don't hit people to hurt them. I hit them to take their soul. Right? Which is the way he played.
He did, but he's something. He's very colorful.
I'm a fan, and I know the allegations or the truths or whatever is out there, but he's not Ray Caruth. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I only say that to get under people's skin. It's like the biggest easy. You're just like Ray Lewis is a murderer. Yeah.
Ray Caruth is a bad
dude was in the limo. Dude was in the limo. You don't know about it. He was on that power shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So I want to talk about ass awards of the week after we talk about the Thursday night game, because the ass awards kind of leads directly into fantasy. And then we can kind of talk about fantasy for about 20 minutes and kind of wrap up the show. So I want you guys to think of your ass award. I have mine.
Oh, I have one.
And I want Lauren, I want you to come up with Jeff's, because he has not texted us yet about who his ass award of the week, or you can hit him up and see if he wants to give it to somebody, or he can pop in a comment or whatever.
I said tequila. So let me, okay, you go ahead. I'm going to look and see who I
All right. So let's talk about this Thursday night game. So we have another on paper. If you would have said before the season starts, the Cardinals and the Saints, yes, a nice, fun, explosive Thursday night football game to watch. But
if anybody was not injured.
Yeah, we have learned differently in the last couple of months of how really, really bad Thursday night football can actually be.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one, I think, actually. Because of D-Hop is back this week.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. Talk about that. And so we have the 2-4 Saints at the 2-4 Cardinals.
Who have lost their last 8 home games.
Right. Yep. And the Cardinals can't score points. Right. So hold on, Lauren. Hold on. We'll talk about it in a second. Cardinals can't score points. This
Saints can't stop anybody.
They haven't been able, for some odd reason, they're not calling Kyler Murray's number to run out of the backfield, even though it works literally every time they do it.
They did last week. He had 10 carries, 400 yards.
That is the first week they did it.
And 3 fumbles.
Right. So, but he's not used to running this year for some odd reason. I don't know why they haven't been using him. It's so weird. What's his name?
Because like every other athletic quarterback with like Lamar Jackson and Randall Cunningham and Donovan McNabb, they're all black. It's not the point. Josh Allen, they want to prove that they can throw the ball. They're not just runners.
So who is the coach? Gosh, why is it blanking?
Cliff
Arizona
Kingsbury,
coach.
who's horrible.
Cliff Kingsbury. He
Terrible.
said,
Fire him.
I'm willing to take a step back from the play calling.
He did say that.
He's what he said, right?
Mhm.
He's willing to do whatever it takes to help the team. So that being said, now Lauren, D-Hop is coming back.
Yeah,
right?
he is.
So he is an automatic he is an automatic
And
target.
you got the Robbie Anderson scandal. Not that he's going to do anything this week, but you got these two guys. Could be interesting in itself.
Look, I don't know why Robbie
player.
Anderson wouldn't do anything this week necessarily, because he's the one that takes the top off the defense. Tall dude, he's going to fit right into the Hollywood.
Like, he got kicked off the field Sunday in Carolina, and he's
so Hollywood just went down.
Yeah, he did.
Almost a year. Right, fantasy year, yes, but he's going to be back in week 14 because they have a bye week, week 13.
Playoffs.
But no, the last week of the playoffs. But are you going to start Hollywood Brown the first week he comes back off a fractured foot? I just don't know. You know what I mean? But you have Zach Ertz. You have
Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore.
Pause of silence is deserved with that. So, and look, he just hasn't gotten any targets, bro. Like nothing. Like, so it's like, why would you even think about playing him when you have? That's why they signed Robbie Anderson, because they don't trust Rondale Moore to do what they wanted him to do. He did it last year, but here's an interesting fact. So, Kyler Murray is the worst deep ball thrower in the NFL this year, right? He was the best last year.
Last year he had Nuke.
And right. Yeah.
I think the problem was Nuke and Hollywood Brown, while both great receivers, are different types of receivers.
Oh, for sure. Hollywood would be their slot when D-Hop was there.
So when D-Hop was there, when Nuke was there, Rondale Moore was more open, whereas now Hollywood and Rondale were the same types of players. Hollywood much better. I think now that Nuke is back, I consider Rondale Moore more as a flex now than I did when it was just Hollywood. Robbie Anderson, listen, he hasn't.
I think Cardinals are about to turn it around. No, I think Tyler's about to make a huge turn, like a one.
I think Kyler's going to explode. I think so too. He's going to explode,
and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, right? yeah. No, I think his offensive line sucks. He's got
for sure does,
but he's about to get. I think he just needs his weapons back now. He's
running for his life. He doesn't have the James Conner of last year. He's working with Eno Benjamin because they don't have anybody else to run the freaking ball. Lewis, we'll get to your question, man, because that's an intriguing question, and we will talk about it in our fantasy segment.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. So all right. So the over under is 44, and the Cardinals are favored by 2. Okay.
The Cardinals are favored by 2 means the Saints are really up by 1 because you get 3 points for the home team. Right. So it's really a pick. It's really a pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em for sure. But the 44 points over under, like last year, the Cardinals were scoring 44 points.
Right? I say under this week.
Oh, it's for sure.
Back? Is Jameis is going to be back? Isn't he? I haven't seen
Michael Thomas is out. So Jameis and Andy Dalton about 3 hours ago, Sleeper just marked both of them as from questionable to healthy, and it's going to be a game time decision. It's literally going to be right before the game starts. Dennis Allen is going to say it's Jameis or it's Andy or maybe it's Taysom. Who the hell knows?
That's what I was about to say.
No. If Jameis play this, I think Jameis plays. I think Taysom is in. I'm putting Taysom in as tight end this week anywhere I can. They won't let you do that in DraftKings, but I'm putting Taysom in as tight end. Olave's back. We got Kamara. It sucks to not have Michael Thomas, but it's still better than last week. Like, some guys scored last week. I don't even know who it was.
Dude, you have no Thomas, you have no Jarvis, you have no Andrus Pete, you have no Marshawn Lattimore. You haven't.
Oh, Marshawn's out. I missed that.
Marshawn was out last week and this week. You have 2 hobbled quarterbacks, and you're on the road. You have Kamara.
With a hell of a defense.
The Saints have not scored. I know this is fantasy, but the Saints haven't scored more than 6 points in fantasy all year.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Wait, who hasn't? Kamara?
No,
The
the Saints.
Saints
And that's because their offense isn't terrible.
I was gonna say it's because they're tired. They're carrying the game.
Yeah,
Well,
but look at it from this way
They're-
though. The last 2 weeks, Kamara has gotten 20 plus opportunities.
I mean, listen,
Right.
even if they keep it, I was still happy for them last week, and I was like, look, guys, at least you kept it to like the last in the Giants game too. It's like at least you took it to the very end, guys. Like
Right.
that made me happy for them. They at least
Right.
kept it close.
Right.
But
And,
I don't know, we'll see. Olave's
he's not on the injury report.
Olave's a
That's what I was
beast.
about to say.
No, he's coming. He said he's playing.
Yeah, he's not on the injury report, so he's fine and he's going to play. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Olave this week. And Lewis, so this may answer some of your question. He's going to be the number one force for the New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
He'll be the number one out there.
Patrick Peterson's all over him.
No. It's the other guy. It's the other guy. Their number one corner. I cannot remember his name, but he has locked down literally everybody. Locked down Mike Williams last
Well,
week.
Peterson's on the Vikings.
Look, hey, can somebody look that up real quick? I don't have the ability to do that.
I got you.
So it's the other corner, not Patrick Peterson. So he's locked up literally everybody they've played. He has not allowed any touchdowns. He has not allowed any touchdowns at all on the season, right? So that's the problem with Olave. And he's coming back from concussion. Now, I don't know if the concussion will necessarily affect it. And he's a different kind of athlete. But I would stay away from him, and I would stay away
Byron
from
Murphy.
Yeah, there you go. Byron Murphy. I would stay away from him and Lamb in that situation, Lewis. I would go Hopkins and Pittman. So, yeah, no, Ferg, you're giving them a lot of freaking credit for real.
Real. I mean, I don't think. I mean, if we want to pick this game, cool. I'm with you, Jeff, on the Saints scoring somewhere between 7-13. I think the Cardinals win, but I don't think this is anything more than like a 20-13 game. Like I don't. Like I think Kyler gets a ton of stats, but I don't think anybody scores.
Okay, so let's do this.
They're always so low scoring, even if it's good teams. It's like nobody wants to play middle of the week, so it's like. I mean, I think they do all right, but in middle of week games, I stop worrying. I mean, I'm playing Olave because I have to, and a lot.
You have to.
So a couple of fantasy tips, a couple of fantasy things I want to cover real quick with just this game, and then we're going to get to the pass awards. So remember, if there's anybody that's starting tomorrow night on your team that's in the flex, put them in the regular position. Leave that flex flexible. That's what it's for. Put him in the regular position. If you're going to start him, you might as well put him in that lineup.
Yep. So Olave's got to go up to wide
receiver. Weekly reminder.
Leave the flex alone. Put those Thursday night players in your regular lineup. So Olave. I mean, if you have him and you need to start him, you start him, right? Yeah. Like because it is the bye week. If Diggs is off.
But you kind of have to because that's why I'm like I don't have an option if he's on Thursday night.
Well, if you don't have Diggs and you don't have if you don't have Jefferson,
AJ Brown, Devonta Smith,
AJ Brown, Cortland's, So
this
if you have these people, you definitely need to play Olave.
Bills, like it's awful.
Yeah, but put him in your lineup in the regular wide receiver position, right? So you got Olave, you start Kamara. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. You don't start any of the quarterbacks because you don't know what the hell's going on. The only other person that's worth, huh?
Well, you start.
No, I'm talking about the Saints. I'm talking about the Saints.
Just the Saints. Okay.
Yeah, just the Saints for a second. And so, do you start Taysom Hill?
I'm starting him just because in the league I'm starting him. I can't do any worse. So I'm like, let me just put the Tay Mace. Maybe the Tay will come out with the magic that I don't know. Yeah, I can't do any worse. So I'm just going to stab in the dark.
Look, you're right. I mean, if it's one of those leagues where there's nothing there and you have nothing to lose, go ahead and play him. Go for that high ceiling.
Also, I want you guys to consider something that we literally just talked about. Byron Murphy shuts down number one wide receivers. Okay, so who else are they going to throw the ball to?
Well, you just pick the ball up and run it.
Right.
Well,
so
there are other wide receivers. I mean, you still have Callaway.
Marquez right. You still have Callaway.
Saquon Smith. Like, you still have people that can catch the ball, but these are not people that you are going to start unless you're in like a 24-man league
or a 16.
And you
I sent a trade out in our show league that I have to discuss too. Speaking of,
we'll definitely get to that in a second because I'm pulling that up right now. But okay, so. That's really all. I mean, you consider starting Taysom Hill because of the Byron Murphy thing, because of the no Michael Thomas thing, because they're going to throw the ball out of the backfield, especially if it's Andy Dalton trying to get it out of their hands pretty quickly. If it's Jameis Winston, you probably want to go more Marquez Callaway, and who was the other one? What's the other guy's name?
Traquan Smith. But Jameis is not one to dump the ball off.
No, he's a deep ball guy.
So if Jameis is starting, I think that lowers Kamara's value.
I think so too.
Maybe it raises Ingram's.
I don't know if it lowers Tate. The thing with Tate, I feel like with the Saints, it's hard. Is like they'll have those trick plays, and you just don't know when they're coming. They're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go for it. Like that's why. So Taysom's like hit or miss. I'm putting him in, hoping that it's entertaining.
Yeah, I think you. I don't disagree.
I agree, Jeff.
Because of what I was saying. Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to the Cardinals. Do you start Kyler Murray? Yes. Do you start D-Hop? Hell yes, because you've been waiting to do that all fucking year. Do you start Eno Benjamin? Yeah. I mean, because he's all they got.
You have to.
You have to. No, you have to, Lauren. He's all they have. He's going to get.
Yeah, but the Saints defense and the run game.
I know, but he's going to get 80% of the carries. Right?
I don't know.
He's going to get 80% of the carries because they don't have anybody else.
If you have another option other than Eno Benjamin, I would definitely.
Yeah, no, if you have another option. But if you're bye week hurting, start Eno.
Yeah.
You're starting Zach Ertz because he's the number 4 tight end on the year. So you're
Zach Ertz 100%.
Right.
Zach Ertz is
good. And so here's the intriguing question. If you are a victim of Bimageddon, which most of us are you starting Robbie Anderson if you picked him up?
No.
I am starting Rondale Moore before Robbie Anderson.
Okay. All right.
If I have to.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to start either, but.
Yeah. And hey, Lewis, you start Kenneth Walker, period.
Yeah, can we put his up? First of all, this is Louis' second question. Where the hell are you getting all these players from, bro?
I know. Are you playing in an 18 league, bro?
I am starting Ken Walker, and I am starting – I'm not starting Kamara out of these 4. Pierce is a beast.
If Jonathan Taylor starts, you have to start him.
Taylor's against Tennessee, and that's a divisional game. I'm going Taylor and Walker there.
I would go Taylor and Walker too, man. I would because if Taylor is healthy and he's an active start, you have to play him. Not only because of draft capital, but because of history.
He's your number 1 pick. Like you have.
Yeah, you have to start him if he's in the active.
Yeah, Jeff, make sure you start your number 1 pick.
Yeah, have to.
Your number 1 pick.
Now, if you have a flex position, I would play Kamara over Pierce, but that's just me. Yeah, that's just me. But calm down.
No, you're
wrong. Kenneth Walker's all they got too, bro.
He's supposed to be with some nurses or something right now. No.
Yeah, for sure.
He is not a walker right now.
All right. So I think we've covered the Cardinals. So we got Ertz, we got D-Hop, we got Kyler, and then you can probably just give it a rest. I mean, if you need to start Eno, start Eno. If you need to start Robbie, start Robbie.
Yeah.
I would
if you have to, but
I would not feel good. Just personally, I would not feel good for the camaraderie of my fantasy team to put Robbie Anderson in a wide receiver spot instead of a flex spot. I wouldn't feel right.
No.
If I had to start Robbie Anderson, Rondale Moore, or Eno this week, I'm pretty much chalking up an L. I mean, I am. Yeah. I mean, when you have that many players, and again, this is fantasy, so I'm sorry, but when you have that many players on bye, it's almost worth it to just say, forget it. Take the loss.
Yeah, take the
Let's
loss.
not drop players and try to just forget it. You lose this week, you go 13-1 instead of 14-0. So long as you get in the playoff, that's all that really matters. It's not worth blowing up the team for 1 week.
Right. Okay. So now let's get into what everybody's favorite segment is, the Ass Awards of the week. And I want to start because I want to give it to not only a goose egg on the field, and we need some sound effects here, but not only a goose egg on the field.
I knew where you're going.
No targets, right? You got to give it to Robbie Anderson.
Oh, Robbie Anderson. Okay.
Oh, you have to. And that's not only because he had 0 targets, he was only on the field for a quarter because he got into an altercation with his wide receiver coach. And then the new interim coach said, kick rocks, hit the locker room. And then they were going to let him go. But then Arizona was like, no, we'll give you a couple draft picks for him. Because we need.
Oh, I didn't realize it happened that quickly.
Oh, yeah. We need people. We need people. It was literally the same day, Lauren.
They were trying. So the Panthers had been trying to shop Robbie for several weeks, and nobody wanted anything would not give anything for him because
Antonio Brown Jr.
He's garbage. Yeah, because he's Antonio Brown Jr. Exactly right. So in that same game that Robbie Anderson got kicked off the field by his own coach, almost simultaneously, Hollywood broke his foot.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden the Cardinals have a need. And while Robbie Anderson isn't the solution by any way, shape, or imagination, he's a warm body who can play. He does have ability. A 6th and a 7th round pick is nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's just like that's
yeah, it's like whatever. Right.
Cards.
Right. Yeah. So that's you just can't act a fool like that. I mean, in today's world when everybody's
I don't even understand what he said. I don't even know what he was pissed about. I tried to look it up and I was like, this is stupid.
Probably because he has no
comparison. Here's the comparison. The same thing that happened to Robbie Anderson in his game is the same exact situation that Melvin Gordon faced in the Denver game. Robbie Anderson was not getting on the field. The coach was not putting him in. They were not calling plays. He wasn't being utilized. Same with Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon was upset about it. He sat on the field. He sat on the sidelines. He rolled his eyes a couple of times. That was caught on camera. That's frustration. You get it. When he was interviewed, I'm going to have a conversation with the coach. Coach came out today and said, Melvin is our starter. He is our starter this week going in. Robbie handled it differently. And you can't handle your business that way as a professional. And he got called out. He got bitch slapped and said, hit the road, Jack.
Yep.
Melvin Gordon handled it better, perfectly, no, but handled it better, and it was the same exact situation.
Yeah.
You're still a professional. You still have to handle your business.
Yeah. No, that's why he earns my Ass of the Week award. So, all right. So, Lauren, what say you?
I got two. I have two running backs that are doing me wrong. Well, one of them, Jeff Wilson, I'm going to throw out there. Like,
that's one of mine.
That's a good one.
The guy that's killing me slowly is Mr. Aaron Jones.
That's a tough one because Aaron Rodgers sucks right now. So that's a tough one.
He supposedly he's going to give the ball more to Aaron. Like he's now learned his lesson or what. So I'm hoping this week Aaron comes out and goes off, but we will see. I mean, they can't get any worse.
Yeah. I mean,
Wilson. Did they just bench him after he fumbled?
I mean, but he had such a good week 2 weeks ago. So it's, I mean, you couldn't have helped but play him. So that's why he wins
you have to play him.
Of the Week award.
Yeah, you have to play him.
All right, Ian, what say you, bro?
So my Ass of the Week award is one that we've already touched on a little bit today. But I just think it bears repeating. For me, it's Cliff Kingsbury. You have the head coach in Arizona. You demonstrated last year that you know how to call a game. You started the season, 8-0, 9-0, like you were the last undefeated team.
7-0.
You were like 10-1 at one point.
That's great.
And then, like every other year, he collapses down the end. And it's like he forgot how to coach. You have star players. You have Zach Ertz. You have J.J. Watt on defense. He's still there. He still plays. You have who's the other guy that came over? He came over from Oakland. It's the Raiders. What's that?
Lineman?
Yeah, D lineman.
It's not Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
So you have a defense. You've got a stud quarterback. You have Hollywood is still. He's like he forgot how to play football. It's like you throw a little bit to Kyler Murray. He needs to learn how to protect the football. You can't have 3-4 turnovers every game. But it's Cliff Kingsbury. He just like you look at what the other young coaches have done. Matt LaFleur was doing the same thing, and he fell off this year. Mike Vrabel was the same thing. He was a superstar, and he's fallen off. Nick Sirianni now is Sean
Nathaniel
Hackett, Kyle Shanahan. These great young brains forget how to do it.
Shanahan's fine.
And like Nick Sirianni is now that new hot name doing everything right. You hope he doesn't fall into that also. Yep. But for me, it's Kingsbury. He just doesn't know how to coach right now.
Yeah, I get that. And he's I understand, Ferg.
Picks up 7 dudes on the waiver wire.
I understand. So that leads perfectly in That leads perfectly into talking about our. Let's get into this fantasy stuff. We need to talk about it for a few minutes because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, because I got a trade to run through.
Let's start off with our fantasy league first. Before we talk about your trade in the league, let's talk about how we ended up last week. I lost. Hollywood got hurt, couldn't really do anything. I had so many people out.
I'm just gonna get the dress ready for my team sucks.
Well, we are in a 16
drastic moves.
Well, for people that don't know, we're in a 16-team league, so there really isn't much on the waiver wire.
No, like I said last week, it's
but you know who is the number one available on the waiver wire in our show league right now? I saw that just before we came on. Is Russell Wilson. Now, he's not playing well, but how the hell is he on the waiver wire?
Because I thought about picking him up, but like nope, he's getting dropped everywhere. The CBS guys were saying today, and unanimously they were like, drop him.
Yeah,
done.
But for what?
Matt Ryan is a better pickup than Russell Wilson, and Matt Ryan's on way more. You do better with Marcus Mariota,
okay.
Matt Ryan.
Because you brought up his name, I'll go ahead and say this.
Second most pass attempts in the league.
Passing yards.
Sorry.
That's what I want to bring up.
He won't
second most.
I'm playing him.
Who is it? I'm sorry. Who's this?
Matt Ryan.
Okay.
Second most passing yards in the league behind Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now,
it's only like 200
this
yards.
week. No, Justin Herbert, I thought passed him.
No.
Okay, well,
this only did 380 yards last week.
384, right, or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean
Herbert.
So, but I lost, and I have a question for you guys, real quick, just for this week. I got Robbie Anderson or Robert Woods.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods or Robbie Anderson. Robert Woods, just because of the volume potential. Treylon Burks is still not there. Delaney Walker finally retired. Like, there's nobody else there to catch the ball. Robert Woods is going to get
Derrick Henry.
Robert Woods is going to get the opposition's top cornerback, who's probably going to follow him, but he's your only option. So just based on volume alone, you get 7 catches for 50 yards. Take your 12 points and roll.
And I get Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift back this week, so I'm pretty happy about that. All right, Lauren, how did you do last week? And then talk about your trade.
So somehow I won the Dynasty League. I wanted Samantha to beat me in the Family League. I was like, Jeff told me no mercy. I was like, I can't do that. I love this girl too much. But no, I put in Isaiah McKenzie and Taysom Hill, and I was like, worst case, they do nothing, and she wins. Best case, they go off and act like a genius. Then they do nothing, but the rest of my team went off. So I beat Samantha.
Isaiah McKenzie should have caught a touchdown.
The show league, this is where I'm like done. Cooper Kupp was my number 1 pick, and I'm trading him. I'm going. No. I don't want anyone from your team is the problem.
I don't want anybody from my team.
What do you need?
All right, so this was the trade that I proposed to Kay Joyner. I don't know if you're listening, Kay Joyner, but you got to check this trade out. So who's in first? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, my stepdad, Dennis, who the Margaritaville Giants. I wondered if he was high when he drafted, and he is in first place in the Family League. That is true. Congrats to you, Dennis. I was going to send you a trade for Geno Smith. I'm still looking at it. All right, so Kay Joyner, I had gone back and forth on it, but I did Cooper Kupp, Nyheim Hines for Geno Smith, Gabe Davis, and Damian Pierce.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Those are his backup players too.
I would take
Damian Pierce makes that an interesting trade.
That's why, but I've got nerves.
And Gabe Davis.
Yeah, no, I mean, my quarterback is Ryan Tannehill. I've been desperately trying to trade for so I'm looking for a quarterback, somebody that's got a decent backup quarterback. That's where you fall off. Your guys are like,
I got Kyler.
That seems terrible.
You would do Kyler, but
see, I have Kyler. You could give me Tannehill, and then we could talk about something else that you really need as well.
I have Kirk Cousins. You can have Kirk Cousins.
I actually wouldn't mind Kirk Cousins as long as you tell me how many primetime games he has left this year, and then we.
That's
0. Clint,
0.
If you want Kirk Cousins, I need anything that's a warm body at this point.
No, does he have any primetime games?
I love this.
Let me look at his schedule. Hang on. I'll look at
Joyner, watch the show because you got to check this trade out. You got to check it out.
I cannot take Kirk Cousins.
He has 1. Oh no, he doesn't.
I have Justin Fields too. So
Justin Fields is garbage. Sorry, Tony.
I have him on my bench.
I feel like to get rid of Cooper Kupp, that's why I like this one, because these are players that this person doesn't necessarily need to start. So we could do 3 of, like, give me that and I'll give you like the number 1. So it's like packaging for Kupp.
Lauren, if you can get Gino, Damian, and Gabe for basically Cooper Kupp, that's a smash accept.
Okay, so I might consider Kyler and Mike Williams if you want to talk Tannehill and Kupp. And I'll throw in somebody else. Maybe I'll give you your boy Taysom.
No, see, I really like the Gabe there's some.
I don't hate the Gabe Davis thing either.
I don't
but
blame you.
If they don't take it, you holler at me. We'll have a conversation.
All right.
Accept that.
Yeah. So and Lewis, yes, Hopkins, Lamb, Walker, Taylor, and Kamara sounds great to me. So I will go with that. All right. So Ian,
I would flex Pittman over Kamara personally, but that's just me.
Yeah. It's on you, man.
Thanks.
No, like how'd you do in the show league?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I was 4-1 coming into this past week. I don't know how, because my team is really not good.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked at your team too, and I was like, "What the fuck have you done?"
So my team is Jimmy Garoppolo, Aaron Jones, Jeff Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, and then Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Smith, Devonta Smith, and a myriad of defense. Oh, and Darrell Henderson. My team is garbage. Somehow I was 4-1, and I don't know who beat me last week. Who instant classic? That's Justin.
That's Fred? Justin. Yeah,
Justin. He only beat me by like 12, so it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
But this week I'm going up whoever Boss Hogging is. I'm 4-2.
Boss Hogging just kicked my ass.
I'm surprised I have 4 wins. I messaged Jeff earlier this week and basically just asked him, bro, this is a redraft, right? Because if this is a dynasty, I'm out.
No, it's definitely a redraft.
If it's a redraft, cool. But this was my team just did not turn out well.
14 team leagues.
4-2.
Challenge, but 16 is.
If the playoffs started today, I'm in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about that. But I don't see myself getting more than like 2 more wins all season.
I'm 2-4, so I feel like the Cardinals and Saints over here.
Wait. Can we really quickly talk about Ian's name and what's going to happen if CMC gets traded? Because that is going to be fun. And I want to make sure that's on record, my man, because
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what was the claim? Ian claimed that.
I said
you should copy and paste exactly what he said. Exactly.
I'm sorry. There's a better chance of my penis spontaneously falling off and people calling me Julie than CMC getting traded.
And I believe that.
There it is.
I don't. If CMC gets traded, it's not to a contender, because a contender is not going to want to give up what needs to be given up. So
that's not wrong.
When this happens, Ian's going to change his name to.
So we said that if CMC gets traded for one show, I will change my name from @IanTheChamp for one show. You wore a dress once. I changed my name for one show. I will change my name to @JulieTheDicklessChamp.
Oh, that's
great. @JulieThePenis.
I think that's fine.
@Julie.
I think that's fine. I mean, and maybe, just maybe, you can wear like a Astros jersey or hat or Yankees.
Oh, that's right, because that whole.
You're a Phillies guy, so I'm trying to go American League, so you have something to. You have some kind of skin in the game, because
the problem is that wearing
y'all are up 2-0 right now.
I mean, wearing the other team's garb only really affects you if you lose to that team, and we're not losing.
Okay. I mean, look,
Julie,
I don't have any love or hate for the Phillies. So, y'all got my boy Kyle Schwarber. He's already got one championship ring. Let him get another. I'm totally
Clint, can I ask you one question completely unrelated to anything else? I asked this question to Jeff earlier in the week, and all he wrote back was LOL. He didn't even answer the question. And I mean it. It's a stupid question, but I mean it legitimately because I legitimately don't know.
Okay.
What the hell is a Tar Heel?
So
That's
it's
a good question.
It's an
I don't
old
know.
story from like back in the way
It sounds kind of
back.
racist.
No, so there was. It's definitely not. So there was. I think it's been a long time since I took North Carolina history, y'all. So there was a group of people in the mountains, and they had a lot to do with building the state and pioneering the Appalachian Trail and all that stuff. And then when they were building shit, tar on their heels used to make prints everywhere. Apparently, that's the kind of thing, right? So it's just a state thing. It's
Where's
not
the
like
tar coming from.
I mean,
I don't.
Is it like
I don't know.
the Brea Tar Pits?
Probably. That's what I'm. I have no idea. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's been 30 years, 25 years of
they
it.
do drill that shit in your. I could sit here and ramble off all the state whatevers of Maryland, the terror. I mean, I could go on and on. They do drill that stuff.
What a Tar Heel.
Look, hey, we were first in flight. That's what I got. Right.
Yeah,
the Keystone State.
Yeah. So first in flight is what I got. And so, but that's it. Okay. So now let's talk about some fantasy football. Let's talk about some Bimageddon. So let's name off the teams that are off this week. So we got the Bills.
You got the Bills. You got the Rams.
Everybody with the Bills. You got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. If you for some reason count on Devin Singletary, Gabe Davis. If for some reason you have Dawson Knox, right? Bills defense. So off this week, right? So you got the Rams. So no Allen Robinson if you play him, no Cooper Kupp, no Matthew Stafford if you play him, no Gerald Everett or Tyler Higbee, no Rams defense.
Yeah.
Right? So then you also have the Vikings. So you have no Justin Jefferson, no Dalvin Cook,
no Kirk Cousins.
So you got no Kirk Cousins, and you got Ian's boys. You got the Eagles that are off. So you got no Jalen Hurts, and no AJ Brown, and no Miles Sanders, and no Dallas Goedert, and
Devonta Smith. Eagles defense.
Who else is off this week? Is that it?
It's just before it.
No, we already said the Rams. Yeah. So
Vikings, Eagles, Rams, Bills.
So you have Justin Jefferson. Let's just go through the wide receivers real quick. You got Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, and
Cooper
Kupp off this week. So in everybody's fantasy draft, these are the first 4 wide receivers taken. Period. Right? And all 4 of them are off on the same.
Jared.
So Jared, yes, we will, Jared.
Yes. We will definitely do that. But you need to this is an extreme pivot.
Yeah, no, it's right? A week you should just.
Well, here's the tough part. There's a lot of leagues out there and a lot of people that are playing fantasy football that have to drop somebody they would never drop ever.
I had to do that because it's a shallow bench. And I mean, it's too late for this now because it's already Wednesday. But what I did was, because it's such a shallow league, I let everybody else do the waivers. And then this morning,
I get that.
I looked to see, or after it was over, I looked to see who everyone was forced to drop. Then that also gives me a closer pick for next week when I got to pick people.
You know what?
I draft Duvernay.
If you're in a team with a shallow bench and you have 2 or 3 of those players on bye, just take the loss.
Yeah, take the loss.
Don't drop your stuff.
Or
I dropped Duvernay and I had to get it for Matt Ryan, and I'll just.
That's not a loss.
No, but it's still for me, the frustration is that the commish doesn't get more people, and he's also the person that drops his kicker to keep extra people. And it's my man, why don't you just give a couple extra bench spots?
Yeah. So one of my guys this week they have a really low scoring defensive points in their league. And he had to drop his defense to play because of the two QB league. And so he didn't have a quarterback. So he was like, should I just not play a quarterback? I'm like, no, bro, you drop your fucking defense.
Yeah.
Because he had Kenneth Walker on the bench and Damian Pierce on the bench.
Yeah,
and he
only
had 3 bench spots. I'm like, no, you can't do that.
No, right? I mean, in hindsight, there's sometimes where I get you're going to get I played the Jags deep. They were -2 points. So it's a hell of a lot better to take the 0 than the -2. So you just got to, you got to take the chances. It's a little gambling in there.
Okay, so let's look at this trade real quick. So Jared had Kyle Pitts, Gabe Davis, and Ramondre Stevenson. Okay, now their current roster still has Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Damian Pierce, Saquon, and Lamar. So you're giving up. So Jared, I would say the only way you lost this trade, because Mark Andrews, yeah, I mean, dude, you're the lineup with Mark Andrews definitely is sexier.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
It's not even close. You have a guy that's getting 15 points a week guaranteed, right? In a half PPR league, and like you're giving up Gabe Davis and Ramondre Stevenson. The Ramondre Stevenson thing is interesting because of Damian Harris, and whenever he comes back, dude still had 16 touchdowns last year. So it's not like he won't be involved. The Gabe Davis thing is the only thing that really scares me. You gave up depth for talent, and I mean, you have a win now lineup, so why not? I'd say you did fine.
Yeah, I think having Pierce in his lineup kind of mitigates the loss of Stevenson. Sure. While Stevenson is starting, he may keep that role. Harris may come back. It's the Patriots. You never know what they're doing.
That depends on Bill, and
you still have Saquon. You have Andrews and JJ, and so Lamar always has that potential. I think Clint's right. You gave up a lot of depth for that one superstar, but I think the rest of the roster, I would have done it. I would have done it.
I would have done it too, because I think it's more. I think your win projection would have gone up because of Mark Andrews, for sure. I don't know what your situation is going to look like when Mark Andrews has a bye week. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter because you just gave up Kyle Pitts. So, but when so Justin Jefferson having a bye week this week and Gabe Davis, that was kind of a wash to me.
Pierce already had his.
Yeah, so I think overall you won, Jared. I mean, I think you won for the season. I think that if you get into injury trouble, then you're gonna have some decisions to make.
It's always a caveat.
Yeah, I mean, but it is Damian Pierce's job. So I would say definitely Damian Pierce. I think you're fine there for sure. So let's talk about some pickups real quick. Okay. So the number one waiver wire pickup this week is probably going to be either Kenyon Drake or Latavius Murray.
Latavius. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, Lauren. You touched on this earlier, and it kind of made me chuckle, but I wanted to save my comment for this segment. So Melvin Gordon got like no carries last week, hardly. Three carries for 8 yards. 3 carries for 8 yards. Latavius Murray got all the work, essentially. So you're telling me, Nathaniel Hackett, you're telling me that Latavius Murray is better than Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams?
Yeah, no, hear me out. Because him and Melvin Gordon were splitting carries. Or Melvin Gordon was 60.
Oh, I was going to say, Javonte Williams, I have him in almost all my leagues, and I blocked it out because it's painful.
I get it. Think about I get it. But, like, you're going to give Latavius 95% of the carries when you had Melvin Gordon splitting or getting more carries than Javonte?
He's not – he's going to get hurt.
Latavius is 43 years old.
I don't care. You got to pick him up.
He's like – yeah, but I would have a bad – I mean, if you're desperate, there's a lot of injuries, but he's going to get hurt in like 2 games. Like, he's awesome when he's on, but he's like goes team by team by team now. He's just like hurt.
This week, you need it. You got Dalvin Cook that's out.
They're playing the Jets this week.
So you got Dalvin Cook that's out. You got Devin Singletary, as I said, if you use him. Miles Sanders. So then you got Miles Sanders out. And if you want to call any of the Rams running backs and production.
Yeah, I mean,
Henderson or not Cam Akers.
So you're not playing Matt Boone or Mike Boone?
No. He got like 1 carry last week.
He got 1 carry for 4 yards and one carry for 3 yards and 1 catch for 4 yards. I think Clint in the situation that you just presented, hands down, I want Drake because they are more of a running team. They have a more established quarterback right now, but most importantly, the leader in that running back room was supposed to be Dobbins. And Dobbins surgically repaired knee, just tightened back up. He didn't play at all. Now, the only problem with Drake is good for a couple of weeks. Gus Edwards is coming back. And when Gus Edwards comes back,
supposed to be back this week.
this week or next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
When Gus Edwards is back and is healthy, I think he takes that number one job from Drake. But I still like Drake more than Latavius.
I don't disagree necessarily. I don't disagree necessarily.
I'm taking Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. I get it. So I'm down for that as well. We'll quickly mention a couple of more. So we got Alec Pierce.
Yes.
You know, that if he didn't get picked up last week, he's a must add.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, as we talked about earlier, somehow, some way is the second
You're
leading
missing
passer.
Josh Allen.
I don't. Nobody knows how that happened. So then you got Robert Tonyan. Now Robert Tonyan is very interesting because Rob is hurt, and then you have Dobbs, who's been great, and you have Alan Lazard, who's been great,
and right? Robbie Anderson is out there.
Yeah, and Robbie Anderson is out there.
Wan'Dale Robinson was a good one.
Wan'Dale Robinson, if he's still available.
Both of the other wide receivers in New Orleans that we talked about. Marcus Callaway, Traquan Smith, just because there's nobody else there.
And here's an interesting one we talked about before coming on the air, Cade Alton, because Tom Brady does use the tight end a lot. And Cameron Brate doesn't know what day it is at the moment. And so he's done for a few weeks. I think that was his second concussion in the time period where
he went to a neurologist. He was
now he has to sit out a certain amount of time. Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams is an interesting stash. Interesting stash. I wouldn't play him this week.
Was there something on the Giants that you could pick? Now I'm going to forget.
Daniel Bellinger is tight end.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton, if he's still out there, Bellinger, if he's still out there, you can pick up.
Wan'Dale is still out there.
A lot of people have dropped Garrett Wilson, and
Elijah Moore is being dropped a lot.
Yep.
Here's a really deep sleeper, Clint. Here's one really deep, really dumpster dive. Brandon Bolden is Josh Jacobs'
Raiders?
like real backup in Las Vegas. He's that third down PPR guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That and Josh Jacobs gets hurt a lot too. Like Josh Jacobs, CMC may get hurt about as much as Josh Gordon goes to rehab. Like it's just.
Lauren, I want you to think about yours while I'm talking about mine now that Ian brought this up. Let's do a deep dive. Like if you need, because it is by Mageddon, if you need fantasy help at different positions, Ian brought up Brandon Bolden. So, Lauren, look up a wide receiver. Go deep on this. I'm going quarterback here. I'm going Davis Mills. Okay? I will go Davis Mills because the Raiders are the worst against fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. They are the worst in the league.
Jeez, the week.
Right?
You're talking just for one week then, right?
For 1 week. We're talking about streamers here. Like if you need a deep dive for 1 week, you go Davis Mills this week because if you have Kirk Cousins, if you have
Heineke,
if you have Josh Allen, right? If you have Matt Stafford, you could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse than Davis Mills this week. And his projection may not look great, but I'm telling you guys, Vegas is terrible against the quarterback.
I'm telling you, if you're picking Davis Mills, you're really sticking your neck out, which is a joke if you know about Davis Mills' neck.
I do because it's ginormous.
It is ginormous.
I do indeed. Anderson is not wrong for leaving. No, he was just wrong for doing it the way he was, and he was forced out. He just wasn't getting any targets. Come on, Ferg. And CMC cursed a coach. No, Matt Rule sucked.
Matt Rule was terrible. He was terrible at Temple. He was terrible at Baylor. He was terrible.
He wasn't terrible at
the Jets. Well, he turned Baylor around.
Yeah, no, he just went straight from Baylor to the Panthers, bro.
He was.
All right, so Lauren, do you have a deep dive wide receiver that you want to start?
Not really, but if I'm going to throw someone out there, I'll say Nick Westbrook because I put him in a couple DFS lineups.
Okay, I mean they only have Robert Woods, right, and Derrick Henry.
That's like a dart.
Look, I don't hate it because he's a deep threat for sure. He's a deep threat for sure. So
super deep dive here, wide receiver AJ Green, because there's no
D-Hop is back though.
D-Hop is
I
back.
don't know.
Robbie Anderson is not up to speed, and there's no Hollywood. He knows the offense.
Yeah.
He's a deep
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a couple of minutes left. I mean, we've already been on longer than an hour, which is about 10 minutes longer than we want to go. So I want you guys to take a look at the NFL schedule this week, and I want you to give me your upset or almost upset of the week. So I will start. I have a very interesting one for you guys to start off with. I'm going to go Lions over Cowboys as a 7.5-point favorite in Dallas.
Wow. All right.
I'm going to go Lions straight. I'm taking Lions and the points. I'm definitely going Lions here. Dak Prescott is playing this week.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dallas defense, I think they're going to have the Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers syndrome, where they're going to be like, oh, these are the freaking hapless Lions that have Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy now, DeAndre Swift healthy now. Jared Goff was the number 1 quarterback in fantasy before.
All right, you picked it wrong last week, though, so I'm just saying.
I'm just telling you guys. I know that the Dallas defense is legit, and Micah Parsons is legit, but like I feel it in my bones. Ian, what you got?
So I'm looking at the schedule. I have a couple. I mean, there's a couple of possibilities. I'm going to go a little bit for shock value here, and I'm going to call it. Thank you for giving it a choice. I'm going to call it an almost upset. I don't think it happens, but I think it's close. Monday night, I think the Bears make it very competitive with the Patriots in Foxborough. I think Justin Fields on national TV balls out. I think Darnell Mooney finally has his come out game of this season, and I think David Montgomery explodes. That
okay,
said,
so don't forget what Bill Belichick is known for.
Taking away
crazy situation.
But what is their best? Is their best Fields? Is it Mooney? Montgomery was terrible last week. He was terrible.
It's Montgomery, because if Montgomery's not running, Fields can't do anything. Period.
I think it's a lot closer. I don't know what the spread is, but I think it's closer than what the spread. The spread's probably like 7.5 would be my guess.
The spread on that game is 7.5 New England.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I would say the Patriots do not cover. And the Bears keep it close. I don't think they win, but I think they keep it close.
All right, Lauren, what say you?
I'm staying on the bandwagon. Choo choo. All right, I'm going Jets. Jets over Broncos.
Okay, is that an upset?
Is that an upset?
It's in Denver.
So Denver's a 1-point favorite. Lauren,
they're in Denver.
Okay, I'll give you the in Denver. You know,
can that be considered an upset if Russell Wilson doesn't play, because he's got the hammy and the shoulder?
He may not.
Russell doesn't play.
All right. Let me because the only other game I have feelings for is Thursday night game.
Okay.
And my other one was Falcons over Bengals. That was my other one.
I was looking at that and I was thinking Panthers over Bucks.
I looked at that too, but
spread of the week. It's Panthers.
All right, I got one.
I
said on my anger, I'm going to take an almost win for the Commanders.
Interesting. Over the Packers. I get it.
Okay.
I get it. It's in Washington, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's in Washington. All right. So is there any last-minute nuggets, either fantasy-wise, last-minute something you want to say about real football or anything like that before we sign off for the week?
My only thing that I want to throw out there is prayers up, Jeff. We are thinking about you. We're not going to put your life. We're not going to put your life out there on front, but we're thinking about you.
Thinking about you. Yeah. Lauren, anything from you?
I'm good.
Yep. All right. So last minute reminder again, take the Thursday folks out of your flex position. Put them in your starting lineup.
Wait, don't we have somebody on next week?
Oh yeah. So let's talk about that. So we have coming up next week, we have EJ Wilson, who is a former NFL player, played 4 years in the league. And I think it's 4 years. I'll have to double check on that. But he is now a a member of the media per se. He is a podcast personality for Inside Carolina. He used to play defensive line at Carolina. Great dude, friend of mine, a golfing buddy of mine, and he has a lot of things to say, a lot of things to talk about. And so we're gonna pick his brain about NFL draft process, all that stuff, like we did with Eric a few weeks ago. And we have another guest coming on a couple of weeks after that, another guest coming on a couple of weeks after that, waiting for the football season in Florida to be finished before we have another one of our guests on. So we'll be doing that next week. Look out for social media posts. We'll be doing that. And until Wednesday, 7:30, same bat time, same bat channel. I'm Clintonian, or you know what? Y'all haven't seen this today. I mean, you kind of have, but here's the trophy from the league that is important to all of my friend fantasy football people, except for you two here, because you are not in this league as of yet. If there are 2 spots that open up in this league, remember, this is 20 years, right? Okay. So, but for Lauren, for Ian, AKA Ian the Champ,